Hi, welcome to Digital Learning. I'm Connie Colosi, the Director of Media, Text, and Digital Learning for Pinellas County Schools, and we are here to kick off the 2020-2021 school year. And boy, we've had a busy summer here in Digital Learning, as you can well imagine, and we're excited for the things we have coming up. I have with me two of my colleagues that work with me in my department, Mr. James Wilson.
Hello.
And Miss Karen Todd.
Hello.
And we're going to talk today about some of the changes we have coming up for this school year. And we're going to primarily talk about a new resource that is coming to the district, Canvas. Canvas is a learning management system, and all students will become familiar with Canvas, whether they are on My PCS Online, even our Pinellas Virtual, and our traditional students will also have exposure to Canvas. So it's important that we all get a little bit of an idea about what it is and where it is. But first, James, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you ended up sitting here.
Okay, thank you. Previously, I was a long history math teacher, math coach, and then I joined the digital learning team as a technology integration coordinator. And then based on the feedback we heard after our spring foray into digital learning, the district decided to purchase a more robust platform to facilitate digital learning or remote learning, and I volunteered to help lead the integration.
How are you feeling about that decision now?
It's keeping me busy.
Yeah, good. Thank you. We're really happy to have someone with the depth of your experience in helping us with this. Karen, tell us a little bit about you and how you ended up sitting here.
All right. I am Karen Todd. I'm a technology integration coordinator, and I just joined the team in the beginning of July. Spent 9 years in a middle school math position, and I saw the opportunity of my master's in instructional technology, and I was excited, especially coming off of the transition at the end of last school year with the digital learning in full force with a quick transition. I saw the opportunity and the importance of integrating that technology into the classroom, and I am excited and very happy to have joined the team.
All right. So like all of us, but you in particular, you were a middle school math teacher, and you went home for spring break. I hope you took your laptop with you. And then you didn't go back to the school. So what was that journey like for you as a teacher to get rolling with that?
Yeah, it was when we found out the news that we were having an extended spring break, and then we got the news that we were going full on digital learning. I will say that it was a task that wasn't necessarily directed. We didn't have a clear, like, this is what we were going to do. We definitely learned, and maybe we were 2 steps ahead of the students in terms of what we needed. But I will say the district and the digital learning team in particular rolled out resources and explanations and anything that we probably could have needed. They felt like it was an on-demand, I know they weren't, but they probably were close to 24 hours on-demand service of providing the teachers what we needed. And I would say, given the week we had to prepare as teachers, and I know then the digital learning team was preparing at that time, the transition, I bragged about it even before I joined this team, that it was one of the smoothest transitions I thought for Pinellas County Schools to be given the situation we were in and be provided as teachers with the resources. Now, of course, there were kind of hiccups along the way, and some teachers were more experienced with the use of technology prior to being forced to use the technology to reach our students. But I think the staff, the administration, the district leaders, parents, students, we all came together without physically being near anybody. And I think we did a fabulous job of pulling it off and making it as successful as we could for our students.
Well, it really was the work of those frontline people like you that made that happen. So to you and 7,700 teachers who made that happen, you know, it's a huge thank you. So you mentioned there were some hiccups. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
I would say one of the most common challenges that I faced were parents reaching out for a issue with maybe the internet connection or the computers. And again, the district did a quick turnaround of providing devices for the students to go and pick up at their school locations, which was huge. I know that there was opportunities for internet to be, and it was just the influx of so many people needing those resources so quickly that kind of delayed that. And it was also getting the students transitioning. You usually start with your students in the classroom and you build those relationships and you teach them your expectations. And that was all set, but then we went to the digital space and we needed to reset those expectations. And one of the biggest things that we are going to overcome or change for this new school year here with the MyPCS Online, one of the biggest struggles for me as a teacher was not having the students on at the same time. It was a lot of asynchronous work, and so I'd be helping students, at 8 a.m. and then I'd be helping students at 11 p.m. So I think one of the streamlines going to help with the MyPCS Online, if that was a decision that was made by the family, is that there's going to be those time slots where the students are engaging in their curriculum at those certain times throughout the day, which will help the teacher and the student set those and meet those expectations of what was needed. So I would again say the technology barriers, once we got through that, and then kind of restructuring my class and teaching expectations of what I expected from the students to do. And I would also say one of the things that was very evident coming again from the district as a teacher was to keep it simple. It was a huge transition for students, so we didn't need to be sending them to 15 different places to get your learning objective met. To kind of streamline that and understand, especially from a middle school, they were getting direction from 7 different teachers at one time. So once we kind of got over that, less is more to get them to hit those learning objectives, I think it was very successful.
The platform that we used, James, was Teams.
Yes.
And Teams, of course, part of the Office 365 suite, and that is a product and application that our district has had access to. And our team, the digital learning team, had been engaged in teaching people how to use Teams. Some of the conversations prior to March were like, hey y'all, we have this really cool thing you can do. And then what changed?
And so we went from working with a few schools and teachers who were forward thinking in, hey, there's a Microsoft platform that is great to facilitate some forms of digital learning, to, okay, the entire district is now using Microsoft Teams. And so it was a transition for all of us. I think the biggest thing that Microsoft Teams is a great platform. However, when they built the Teams software, it was originally a business application that had usefulness in the educational setting, and so they started adding educational pieces, and so it wasn't truly built to support full-time 100% your entire district, using it to facilitate the learning that we were forced into. And so some of the hiccups that Karen mentioned came out because of that. There were some platform issues, just because it wasn't, that wasn't the original thought when they built the platform. It worked for us. We made it work. There was some struggle at times, but we all pulled together and got through it.
So we are going to be talking about a new platform here, as we've mentioned, Canvas. But if I were a teacher or even a parent, I might be thinking, well, we just learned all of that. What did we waste our time? Is that time lost? And now we're going to do something new? How would you respond to someone who might be thinking that?
My response would be, Microsoft Teams is not going anywhere. It's still part of our package. However, lessons learned required us as a district to provide something that was built to handle and sustain remote learning, which is what we were forced into. And we will probably be doing, from now into the near future, because blended learning is really the wave of, the future in education. So it wasn't that we got rid of Microsoft Teams. We moved to what would be the next evolution as a district in supporting student and teachers in the learning process, which is Canvas.
So Karen, you started with the team on July 1st. What did you know about Canvas at that time?
I knew that it was a learning management system, and I didn't know much. I'll be perfectly honest. I jumped on the team in July, and maybe my first or second day, James came over and he said, well, this is what we're doing. Let's jump in. And I've helped create more of the behind the scenes. And something that I wanted to mention in relation to the teaching with the teams when I was in the classroom just last year was that it was kind of nice, and I know not all teachers would agree with me in this respect, but it was nice to be learning with the student. So you were experiencing the same difficulties they were, and I know students want to be ahead. We're supposed to know all the answers, but we were experiencing the same frustrations as the students. So personally, I could sympathize with them and know, like, as James mentioned, when we first logged on, and I think it was day one, my assignments weren't uploading. They said, get ready, you can pre-upload, all these great things. And there was just so many people on it at the same time. There was nothing we could do. And so just kind of keeping that teaching moment for the students is that it was frustrating. We were frustrated, I was frustrated, but we had to give it time. We had to work through the solutions. And like I said, the digital learning team providing those resources. And now with Canvas, again, we're, as the digital learning team, ahead of the teachers. But personally for me, I'm not that far ahead of where the teachers are going to come in. But I will say that coming from the classroom, working with Microsoft Teams, to now working with the digital learning team to then train the teachers with Canvas, Canvas is going to do exactly what the teachers wanted and streamline and have that consistency across grade levels, across subject areas, so that teachers, parents, students all can figure out where they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to get there, as James mentioned, making it it has a more educational feel to me than a business feel that the teams provided for us for the last school year.
Well, we're going to talk a bit more, dive a little deeper, take a look at some things in Canvas, but first we're going to take a quick break. Come back in a few and we will take a deeper dive into Canvas.